everyone, this is Kasha, and today we're going to make a dress with a strapless bodice and a see-through overlay for your 18-inch doll. To complete this project, you will need a pattern that you can purchase from me, and the link to it is in the description below. You will need a 14-inch piece of soft tulle or even better stretchy tulle. It's more expensive than the regular tulle, but it's so much nicer and so much. And also an 8-inch piece of a matching cotton that we're going to use for lining. You will also need matching thread, 2 3.5-inch pieces of round elastic, so total of 7-inch, and also a 5-inch piece of Velcro. This one is the 5/8 of an inch cut in half lengthwise. We will begin by cutting our pattern pieces. You want to begin by cutting the big pieces first. So I would cut the 7/18-inch piece of cotton for the skirt lining first, and then the remaining cotton pieces, which for the cotton you wanted to cut 2 of these pieces on fold for the front and also 4 of these pieces for the back. Out of the tulle, you want to cut out a 7/26-inch piece for the skirt, also 2.5/12-inch piece of the tulle for the tape, and then cut out all of the remaining pieces, which you have the front piece, you're going to cut that on fold, you have 2 back pieces, and also 2 sleeves. So step 1 is going to be to sew the bodice pieces together. You want to put the right sides together and then sew this top edge here and these 2 top edges using a 1/4-inch seam allowance. Now you want to take your front bodice piece and notch it. You want to put a notch in the center right here, almost all the way to your seam, and then do some along the way on the curve. Then you're gonna flip it to the right side. You'll do it for the front piece and also for the 2 back pieces, and go ahead and press it. Once you have ironed your bodice pieces flat, you want to serge or zigzag all of the edges just to keep them from fraying and so that I have a nicer finish. Do not put them together, just serge the edges. Step 4 is to sew the tops of the dress together, right sides together again, and then just these 2 pieces 1/4-inch seam allowance. Step 5 is to sew your sleeves into the shirt. So you're going to connect these 2 edges, sew right sides together, 1/4-inch seam allowance, and sew this curve. Do it on both sides. You're going to take your see-through top overlay and then put the sleeve right sides together, start in the corner, use 1/4-inch seam allowance, and sew along this edge, so you're going to be adjusting as you go. So now we're going to hem our sleeves. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to fold the fabric around the elastic 2 times. As I begin sewing, I'm going to sew through the elastic and through the fabric, and then I'm going to move on to hemming. And I'm going to hem along this side. As I'm hemming, I'm going to have to stretch the elastic so it reaches all the way to the other end, and at the end I'm going to sew it in again. This is a little tricky, so take your time. And this is about what it should look like when you're done. So now we're going to put our dress overlay together with the bodice. And at the same time, we're going to sew the sleeves together. So this is a little tricky. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold your overlay piece right sides together. You're also going to add your bodice pieces. So a piece here, the other piece here, flip it, and the front over the front. As you sew, you're going to start at the sleeve, go to the corner, and once you reach the edge here, you will sew all of these pieces together. So the front bodice, the front overlay, the back overlay, and the back bodice. And then do the same thing on the other side. So I have actually pinned this together because this is 4 layers and I don't want it to move. I'm going to start at the sleeve. So right here over the elastic, go to the corner, turn, and then sew right outside of my serged stitch. Step 8 is going to make the tape out of this 12-inch piece of fabric. You're going to fold it in half, the wrong sides together, and iron it down, and then you open it up and also iron both of the sides in like this. There's special tools for making tape, but this is such a little piece that you don't need to use a tool. So now that I have put my sleeves and my top, front and back together, and I have made my tape, I'm going to attach to the tape to the collar. Going to start in the back corner. I'm going to open the tape, and this edge of the collar is going to go inside, line up with the edge here, fold over, and then I'm going to sew as close to this edge all the way around. Now we need to work on our lining of the skirt. You need to take the lining, you can iron it or pin it or both, fold it in twice to hem it, and you're going to do it all along one of the long edges. Then you want to serge or zigzag the side edges. Do not put them together, just finish off the edges. Using our largest stitch, we're going to sew the top of the lining, not the end that you had hemmed, the top, and also the top of the skirt overlay, which afterwards we will gather. You want to spread your gatherings as evenly as you can on both the lining and the overlay. Then you're going to line them up, and you want this to end up the same width as your full entire top of the dress. Now once you are happy with the way it's lined up, you will put the right sides together of the tulle on top of your skirt. You're going to pin it and then sew. You will have to use a seam allowance that's bigger than 1/4 inch. You want it to be big enough to go past the gathers. So you want to make sure that you didn't miss anything, and if it looks good, take your ugly stitch and either zigzag it together, or use zigzag scissors, or use a serger for a really nice finish. So now I'm going to sew in the Velcro. So the soft piece I'm going to put on top, lining up with the neckline, the bodice, the overlay, going all the way to the skirt, and then fold it in like so. I'm going to pin it real good and sew it in. The scratchy one, I'm going to line up at the neckline all the way down to the skirt, and I'm just going to sew it on top. Once your Velcro is in, you want to line up your skirt, your two pieces, so your overlay and then your lining, and then you want to stitch them together, and you want to finish right below where the Velcro starts. Now your dress is done. Flip it right side out. So now your dress is done and you're ready to go try it on.